So let's come to a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or kneeling. Lengthen through the spine, roll the shoulders down. Have the hands in the lap or have the backs of the hands resting on the knees. Thumb and index finger touching, palms facing up or palms facing down, whichever you prefer. Slightly dip the chin. Taking a few moments to settle into the space, settle into your body. It is a full moon today, so if you want to keep this in mind through your practice, feel free to do so. Full moon represents letting go, slowing down, relief. So just keeping those things in mind as we practice today, if you want to, but you don't need to. So just taking a moment to acknowledge everything that you're thinking, everything you're feeling, all the good, the bad, the light, the dark. Just acknowledging and accepting all of these things. Allow them to rise to the surface. Giving them permission to be there. And then letting them go, completely letting them go. And bring your awareness to your natural, spontaneous breath as it flows in and out of the nostrils. Not manipulating the breath in any way, just simply watching it, feeling it flow as it flows in and out of both the nostrils. As the breath flows, be aware of its quality. Is it rough or smooth? And now letting this go and bringing the awareness down to the chest, the heart space, the heart center and the heart space, the hridaya space. Bringing the hands in prayer position at the heart center, allowing the thumbs to lightly touch the chest, fingers spread wide, palms engaged with one another. We'll begin with one Om together, so taking a deep inhalation through both the nostrils. Release the hands down, open the eyes, and we are going to start with some seated side stretches. So staying as you are. Draw down through the tailbone, drawing it down towards the mat, lengthen through the spine. Relax the shoulders down and then raise the arms alongside the ears, fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Very slightly engage the core, drawing the navel back towards the spine. Take a deep inhalation as you reach up. And as you exhale, allow the left hand to draw down to the mat, the right arm to reach up over the head. You can take the gaze upwards, feeling a stretch through the right hand side. And then inhale, coming back to center. Exhaling over to the other side. Feeling a nice stretch through the left hand side. Inhale, coming back to center. And then exhaling and twisting to the left, allowing the left hand to drop down behind the bottom, gazing over the left shoulder. Inhale, coming back to center. And exhaling, twisting round to the right hand side, right palm to land behind the bottom. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, stretching to the left. Inhale to raise. Exhale, stretching out to the right. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, twisting over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, back to center. We'll flow that one more time. So exhale, stretching out to the left. Inhale, straightening up. Exhale, stretching to the right. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, twisting round to the left. Gaze over the shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twisting to the other side. And inhale, back to center. One more, reach up through the fingers, soften the shoulders down. You can take the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release the hands down. And then taking the legs wide to the side, as wide as you like. So you can have a nice bend in the knees here if that's more comfortable. And you might want to roll the fleshy parts of the bottom out, which creates a bit of a ledge. Once again, draw the tailbone down towards the mat, lengthen through the spine. And then taking the hands out in front, interlacing the fingers. And just imagine you've got a big pot of soup or porridge in front of you. So we're going to lean over the space between the legs. And then drawing over to the right side. And then drawing back, engaging the core. So draw the navel back towards the spine. Drawing over to the left and reaching over to the front once more. So over to the right, drawing back, engaging the core, and then drawing over to the left, stirring our big pots of porridge. So work this movement nice and slowly. Allow the breath to just flow how it wants to flow. But be very aware of what you're doing, how you're moving. When you reach the front, hovering over the space between the legs, pausing here. And then we're going to move in the opposite direction. So this time we're going to shift over to the left first, drawing back, and then shifting over towards the right, moving over the space between the legs. So doing exactly the same thing, but in the opposite direction. Keeping the movement slow, keeping them steady. And then when you next find yourself hovering over the space between the legs, pausing here. And then you can release the hands down to the space in front or to the ankles or the shins. And just pausing here for a few breaths. Allow the navel to lead the chest down towards the floor, just as far as you can go. With the exhales, you may be able to soften towards the floor, but don't worry if that's not available, don't worry if that's coming to you. One more inhalation as you lengthen through the spine, and an exhale, softening the navel and the chest towards the floor and the legs. And then a nice big inhale to slowly come back all the way to seated. And then we're going to come into a tabletop position. So fingers spread wide, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips over the knees. So knees hip width apart, wrists shoulder width apart. And just feel into your neutral spine. So you might want to draw the tailbone under very slightly, keeping a nice straight spine, a neutral back. Engage the core slightly by bringing the navel back towards the spine. And from here, we're going to take the gaze forward, take the tailbone high towards the ceiling, curving the spine down towards the mat, coming into our cat extension. And then tuck the tailbone under, curve the spine towards the ceiling, chin towards the chest as we move into our cat flexion. Inhale, take the gaze forward, lift the tailbone high, moving into cat extension. Tailbone dips, chin towards the chest, exhale into our cat flexion. Inhale, cat extension. And exhale, cat flexion. So continue moving like this at your own pace. You can close your eyes down if that feels good. And again, no rush here. Keep the movement slow and steady. Allow your breath to guide the movements. Be aware of the whole of the back, all the tiny bones. Finishing the round you're on, and then coming back to a neutral tabletop position once more. Releasing the buttocks down to the heels, raise the arms alongside the ears, draw the navel back towards the spine, just pausing here for a few breaths. Giving a break to our wrists and our hands before we move back into our tabletop position. Take an inhale to stretch up into the fingertips, relax the shoulders down, and an exhale to find your tabletop position once more. Check that your wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then we're going to move into some tiger flows. So extending the right leg back behind, pushing into the sole of the foot. You can slightly turn the toes in towards the midline of the body to straighten the hips. From here, we're going to bend the knee, drawing the toes towards the back of the head. Take the gaze upwards. And then extending the leg back behind us once more, releasing the knee down to the mat. Extending the right leg back behind, pushing into the sole of the foot. Bending the knee, drawing the toes towards the back of the head. Gaze is for upwards. Extending the leg back behind. And releasing the knee down to the mat. So we're just going to keep working with this right side. Inhale as you extend the leg back behind, pushing into the sole of the foot. Exhale, toes to the back of the head. Inhale, extending the leg back behind. Exhale, knee to the floor. Inhale, leg extends. Exhale, toes to the back of the head. Inhale, leg extends behind. Exhale, lowering the knee down. 2 more at your own pace. When you finish your second round, bring both knees to the mat. Release the buttocks down to the heels once more. Raise the arms alongside the ears. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Relax the shoulders down and breathe here. Take an inhale to reach through the arms into the fingertips. And an exhale, finding your tabletop position once more, moving into the other side. The same flow. So we're going to inhale, extend the left leg back, press into the sole of the foot. Exhale, draw the toes towards the back of the head. Inhale, leg extends. Exhale, knee to the mat. Inhale, straightening the leg back behind. Exhale, the toes to the back of the head. Inhale, leg extends. Exhale, knee to the floor. Inhale, taking the leg back behind. Exhale, toes to the back of the head. Inhale, leg extends. Exhale, knee to the mat. So flow 3 more rounds at your own pace. Take it nice and slow. And after your third round, bring both knees back to the mat. Release the buttocks down to the heels. Raise the arms up. And then bring the hands in prayer to the heart center. So you might want to draw towards the back of your mat just a little bit. We're going to move through a flow. And we're going to need to use the space in front of us. So bringing the hands in prayer position. This is our starting position. From here, we raise the arms up, coming up into a high kneeling position. And keeping the arms alongside the ears, we're going to bend at the hips, lowering with control down to a child's pose, resting the head on the mat. From here, you can take the gaze between the hands, and then we're going to push the chest and the body forwards, pushing up into our cobra, tucking the toes under, pushing back to our mountain. And then stepping the left foot between the hands, dropping the back knee down. Lovely. Raising the arms alongside the ears, coming into our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Lower the hands back down to the mat, either side of the foot. Lifting the back knee up, step the front foot back to mountain. Lowering both the knees to the floor into tabletop position. Then lowering the chin and the chest, pushing the chest forward and up into cobra. And then lowering down and pushing back with lots of strength into child's pose. Stretching the arms alongside the ears, coming up into high kneeling. Bringing the hands in prayer and releasing the buttocks down to the heels. So it's a bit like sun salutation, so that was one side. Raising the arms up as we come into high kneeling, palms face out. Keep the arms alongside the ears, bending at the hips, flowing all the way down to child's. Forehead towards the mat. Take the gaze to between the hands. Push the chest forwards and up into cobra. Tuck the toes under, pushing up into mountain or down dog. This time stepping the right foot between the hands, back knee drops. Raising the arms into half moon. Lowering the hands to either side of the foot. Picking up the back knee, stepping back to mountain. Knees drop to the mat into tabletop position. Lower the chest and the chin, pushing the chest forwards into cobra. From here, lowering the chest, using all the strength of the arms, pushing back to child's. Keeping the arms alongside the ears, raising up into high kneeling. Bring the hands in prayer, and then lowering down to Vajrasana. So that was one round. Well, flow one more. Raising the arms alongside the ears, high kneeling. Lower with control to child's. Gaze forward, push the chest forward, coming into cobra. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, pushing back to mountain. Step the left foot between the hands, drop the back knee, low lunge. Raise the arms, half moon. Lower the hands to either side of the foot, stepping back to mountain. Lower the knees to the floor, tabletop. Lower the chest and chin, pushing the chest forwards and up into cobra. So use your strength as you lower the chest, push back to child's. Inhale, raising up, high kneeling. And lower the hands in prayer, Vajrasana. Raise the arms up. Lower to child's. Gaze between the hands, push the chest forwards to cobra. Tuck the toes to mountain. Step the right foot between the hands to lunge, back knee drops. Raise the arms, half moon. Lower the hands either side of the feet. Tuck the back toes under. Step back to mountain. Lower both the knees into tabletop. Lower the chest and the chin. Pushing the chest forwards and up, cobra. Lower the chest. Use all the strength. Push back to child's. Arms alongside the ears, raising to high kneeling. And release to Vajrasana. Pause here, close the eyes down. You can keep the hands here in prayer position. Or you can take the hands to the lap. Take a few moments to allow the breath to settle. Feel free to be aware of any sensations within the body. And then blinking the eyes open, you can release the hands down to the lap. And then if you want to move to a more middle position on your mat, that's fine. So if you want to come a little bit more forwards. And then coming back into a tabletop position. Fingers spread wide, wrists stacked underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Feel into that neutral spine, draw the navel back towards the spine. Feel the core engage. And then bring the awareness to the left leg. And bring the left foot up between the hands. That's it. And then tuck the back toes under. I'm going to lift the back knee up. Swivel the back foot to a 45-degree angle. And use the arms raise the arms alongside the ears to push yourself up into warrior one. So you might want to readjust your stance here if it feels a little bit uncomfortable. Make sure you're pressing into the outer edges of the back foot. Press into the front big toe. See if you can square your hips to the short front of the mat as much as possible. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat. Bring the navel back towards the spine. And we're going to flow through a little mudra here called the Ganesha mudra. Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. So interlacing the fingers in front of the chest, pull the elbows wide to the side. Turn the palms out, pushing the palms forward. And then raise the interlaced hands above the head. Release the hands down to the top of the head. Bring the arms out to the side, engaging the thumb and the index finger in chin mudra. And then turn the palms out to the side in Gyan mudra. Raise the arms up alongside the ears. Release the hands down to either side of the foot. Swivel the back foot in, and then step the front foot back into mountain. Pausing here for a few breaths before we move into the other side. Taking the awareness to the right foot this time. Gaze between the hands and then step the right foot up between the hands. You can take the foot slightly over to the side if you feel a little bit more steady. And then pivot the back foot to a 45-degree angle. Stretch the arms out alongside the ears. Push into the front foot as you raise yourself up. So again, adjust yourself if you're not feeling quite comfortable here. Make sure the front knee is bent. You can just about see the big toe. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat. Lengthen through the spine. See if you can square the hips to the short edge of the mat. And we'll move through our Ganesha flow on this side. So interlacing the fingers in front of the chest. Take the elbows wide to the side. Turn the palms out to the front. Push the palms forward. Raise the hands above the head. Lowering the hands to the top of the head. Taking the arms wide to the side, thumb and index finger touching, chin mudra. Turn the palms out, Gyan mudra. Raise the arms up alongside the ears. Release the hands to either side of the foot. Pivot the back foot in and step back to mountain. And pausing here, taking the fingers nice and wide, a slight bend in the elbows, rotate the shoulders down, take the tailbone high towards the ceiling and the wall, have a generous bend in the knees, heels can be lifted. And then bring your awareness to the space between the eyebrows, the eyebrow center. If you wish, you can close the eyes down. And as you breathe, keep the awareness at this space. Three more deep breaths here. When you've finished your third and final breath, you can release both the knees down to the mat, coming back to a tabletop position. Shift the wrists underneath the shoulders once more. Release the tops of the feet down to the mat beneath. And then step the left foot between the hands. You can take it as far up to the front of the mat if you wish. Take a nice bend in that front knee. Coming into our low lunge. So we're going to see if we can open our hips to the front of the mat. The same with our ribs, our chest, all open to the front of the room. Relax the shoulders down towards the bottom. If you want, you can have the back toes tucked, or you can soften the top of the foot down to the mat. From here, we're going to raise the arms alongside the ears. And then your knee might start to track forward of the ankle as you push the hips forward. Take a nice inhalation as you reach up through the hands, draw the tailbone down towards the mat. As you exhale, if it's available, you can take a slight back bend, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. And when you're there, you can pause for a few long breaths. On your next inhale, raising back up to a neutral spine position. Exhale, lower the hands to either side of the foot. Tuck the back toes under. And then bring the front foot back into your tabletop position. So once again, bring the wrists underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath the hips. Bring the navel back towards the spine, engaging the core. Bring the awareness to the other foot this time. I think it's the left foot, but whichever one we haven't done. And stepping it between the hands. So again, you can track the foot forward to the front of the mat. Bring the hands either side of the foot. And once again, we're opening the whole of the front body to the front of the room. So the hips square to the front of the mat. Ribs, chest open. Gaze is forward. You can have the back toes tucked if you wish. From here, we're going to raise the arms alongside the ears. Take a nice inhalation as we reach up through the arms into the fingertips. Tailbone draws down. As you exhale, feel free to slightly bend back, taking the gaze up. And a few deep, long breaths here. On your next inhalation, drawing back to center. Exhale, lower the hands to either side of the foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and this time stepping all the way back into our mountain or downward dog. Maybe this time your heels reach the floor while you're still keeping length through the spine and the back. Once again, you can close the eyes down. Bring the awareness to the eyebrow center. After your next exhalation, blinking the eyes open, release the awareness of the eyebrow center. And then lowering both the knees down to the mat, softening the tops of the feet to the mat beneath, and then drawing the hands and the arms out in front of you as you come into puppy dog pose. So your bottom is still up in the air, forehead resting on the mat, palms facing down, feeling a lovely release through the shoulders, through the middle back. Feel free to close the eyes down, let it all go. Stay aware of the breath. And then from here you can release the buttocks very slowly down towards the heels, allowing them to find the heels beneath, coming into your child's pose. Feel free to take the knees wide to the side, if that's more comfortable. You can take the arms to the width of the mat as well, creating space through the shoulders. Start to deepen the breath. Bring the awareness back to the body, to this room. On your next inhalation, very slowly, start to bring the hands back towards the body, just walking them along the mat. Very slowly start to curl up through the spine, coming all the way up. And then we're going to move into our awkward seated twist. So we're going to take the left sole of the foot to the right buttock, bending the left knee. And then we're going to take the right sole of the foot over, allowing it to sit on the mat by the left thigh. So just give yourself a bit of a wiggle while you're here. You want to try and allow your bottom to be even, so both bottom cheeks are actually sitting on the mat if possible. So we draw the tailbone down towards the mat, length through the spine, soften the shoulders down. Maintaining the softness through the shoulders, raise the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, twisting round to the right, allowing the right hand to find the floor behind the bottom. And we're going to try and get the right knee towards the armpit as much as possible, and then the left hand can just rest on the thigh. And we're taking the gaze over the right shoulder. If you're happy here, that's fine. If you want to, you can take a bind, taking hold of the hand through the space between the right leg. Once you've found your comfortable position, closing the eyes down. And if you wish, you can feel the breath flowing up through the center of the body, from the tailbone right up into the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you can feel the breath as it flows back down through the center of the body, the spine, to the tailbone. Breathing in your own spontaneous manner, but just visualizing or feeling the breath as it flows up and down in this space. One more inhalation to lengthen through the spine, and as you exhale, soften and extend into the twist. Blink the eyes open, and on the next inhalation, draw the arms up alongside the ears, coming back to center. Pause here in a neutral spine for a moment. And then release the hands down with an exhale. And this time we're moving into the other side. So we're going to take the right sole of the foot to the left buttock. Left sole of the foot finds the mat on the right side of the thigh. Again, just try to engage both the bottom cheeks with the mat. It's probably going to feel very different each side. Draw up, take the arms up alongside the ears. Relax the shoulders down, lengthen through the spine. Take a deep inhalation as you reach up through the fingertips, and as you exhale, twist round to the left, taking that knee into the armpit as much as you can, dropping the left hand down behind the bottom, gazing over the left shoulder. When you're comfortable, closing the eyes down. If you want to take the bind, feel free to do so. And then bringing the awareness back to that middle column of the body. Inhaling from the tailbone up to the crown of the head, and exhaling back down towards the tailbone. An inhalation to extend through the spine, through the torso, and as you exhale, softening and extending into our twist on this side. Blinking the eyes open, inhaling, raising the arms alongside the ears, coming back to center, pausing here, coming back to a neutral spine, and then releasing the arms on an exhale. And you can untangle your legs and coming to a comfortable cross-legged or kneeling position. And we'll finish with some pranayama meditation. So just getting everything to be comfortable, jumpers, socks, whatever you need. So I think we will do 9 count breaths tonight, or Nawa Sankhya, sorry. I think most of you have done it. But it's where we breathe into the belly for 1. We draw the belly into the chest for 2. We hold it here in the chest for 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we sneeze it out for 7, which sounds like this. And then we hold it out for 8 and 9. So you breathe into the belly for 1, draw the breath up into the chest for 2, we hold it in the chest for 3, 4, 5, 6, sneeze out for 7, and hold it out for 8 and 9. I think this is a nice one to do because it's sort of like getting out the stale air with our sneeze, just keeping into the theme of the full moon and letting go and relief. We tried to keep the breath as easy and natural as possible in this. It feels like we're kind of forcing it, and we are in a way, but whilst we're doing it, we're just trying to stay relaxed. We're trying to soften through the shoulders. We're not trying to manipulate the breath too much. We're just flowing. As we breathe in, we're just breathing in, and as we're holding, we're just holding it, and then we release it with that bit of force. And as we hold it out, try to hold it out as softly as you can. But just practice it, see how you go. And if you need to stop at any point, just stop. Okay. So we can have the hands in the lap. We can have the backs of the hands resting on the knees. Thumb and index finger touching, palms facing up or down. When you're ready, you can close the eyes down. Just relax into the moment. Take a few minutes to find your breath. So we'll do the first few rounds together, and then we'll just practice on our own at our own pace. So to begin, let's just get rid of any air in our lungs. So take a nice deep breath in through the nostrils. Open the mouth. Do that 2 more times. Inhale through the nostrils. Then taking a deep breath in through the nostrils, allowing the belly to fill with air for 1. Drawing the breath into the chest for 2. Holding here for 3 on, 4 on, 5 on, 6 on. Sneezing out for 7. Holding out for 8 on, 9 on. Breathing into the belly for 1 on. Drawing the breath into the chest for 2 on. Holding here for 3 on, 4 on, 5 on, 6 on. Sneezing out for 7. Holding out for 8 on, 9. Breathing into the belly for 1. Drawing the breath into the chest for 2. Holding here for 3 on, 4 on, 5 on, 6 on. Sneezing out for 7 on. Holding out for 8 and 9. 1 more round together. Breathing into the belly for 1 on. Drawing up into the chest for 2. Holding here for 3, 4 on, 5 on, 6 on. Sneezing out for 7. Holding out for 8 and 9. So continue practicing at your own pace. 9 count breath. Finishing the round you're on and doing one more at your own pace. When you've finished your final round, release all efforts. Allow your breath to come back to its own spontaneous rhythm. Be aware of any sensations within the body after the practice. And draw your awareness up to your mind space, the space behind the forehead. It's a vast and infinite space, and it's personal to you. Anything can happen here. Anything can play out. You might see pictures, colours, patterns. Allow yourself to watch this space like a silent witness. Imagine yourself sitting at the back of your head, looking out into this space, looking far out. Acknowledging each thing and moving from one thing to the next, without judgment, without manipulation, simply watching. With awareness. If your awareness drifts to other things, simply bring it back to the place of watching. Sending the awareness far out into the space. Letting go of the space. Now letting go of this space. Completely letting go of this space, the mind space, and bringing the awareness back to the body. Bringing the full awareness back to the body. Bringing your full awareness back to your body. We're finished with 3 Oms together. So bringing the hands in prayer to the heart center. You can keep the eyes closed, slightly dip the chin. Drawing in through both the nostrils. Ah. 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.